Okay, so let's begin with the another topic in the paper one and the chapter two, which is called the cryptogams. It is relating with the fungi and called as the parasexuality in fungi. Now, it is very peculiar topic, and many a time UPSC mains examination has already asked this particular type of a topic belonging to the fungi, because this parasexuality is the phenomenon which is found in these particular fungi and are of critical importance. Okay, and that is why this topic is very important from the UPSC mains examination point of view. So, in this particular video lecture, we are going to focus on what is parasexuality and how it occurred in the fungi and how it is different with that from the normal way of sexual reproduction. All right. So, here is the syllabus. We are dealing with the paper one, and in that we are studying the cryptogams. We are here at the fungi. Okay, we have already studied the structure and reproduction from the evolutionary viewpoint for the fungi and ecological and the economic importance as well. Okay, and today we are going to consider the parasexuality in the fungi. Now consider the introductory slide for this. See, in some fungi, the true sexual cycle comprising the nuclear fusion meiosis is absent. As you know, during the sexual reproduction in the fungi, we have already studied it. There were the three steps, right? There is a nuclear fusion, there is a karyogamy, there is a plasmogamy, and there is a meiosis. And through this particular process, the fungi tries to reproduce. This is the normal reproductive cycle in the fungi. But what some fungi are showing here? Some fungi are the true sexual cycle comprising the nuclear fusion, and the meiosis is typically absent in them. That is the natural way of reproduction. Whatever the natural way of reproduction present in the fungi is typically absent in some of the fungi. Okay, then what they possess? See, these fungi derive the benefits of sexuality through the cycle which is known as the parasexual cycle. This literally means, what is parasexual cycle? The parasexual cycle is nothing but the replacement of the normal sexual cycle in some of the fungi. That is, the normal sexual cycle in the fungi is replaced by the some other kind of process which is called as the parasexual cycle. So, while defining the word parasexuality in fungi, it is relating with the parasexual cycle in the fungi. And what is parasexual cycle? Parasexual cycle is nothing but the replacement of the actual sexual cycle in the fungi. That is, some fungi do not show the true type of reproduction. That is the typical way of reproduction. The three-step reproduction is not shown by the some of the fungi, and instead they show some different kind of the sexual reproduction, which is called as the parasexual cycle. Okay, now let's elaborate this. See, the parasexual cycle is defined as the cycle in which the plasmogamy, karyogamy, and the meiosis takes place, but not at the specific time or the specific points in the life cycle of organism. Now, this is very important. See, during the sexual reproduction, the plasmogamy, which is later followed by the karyogamy, and the meiosis is the normal reproductive cycle in the fungi. But this sequence of the plasmogamy, then the karyogamy, and then the meiosis is not followed by some of the fungi. Although these processes were also taking place in the parasexual cycle as well, but not at the definite time period. That is, they are not coming in a pattern, just like the sexual reproduction. Because what is the pattern? Pattern is the plasmogamy, then karyogamy, and then the meiosis. So first of all, it has to occur the plasmogamy, then it has to go through the karyogamy, and finally meiosis should occur, which is called as the normal reproductive cycle. This is the normal reproductive cycle. But this normal reproductive cycle is not found in some of the fungi, although all these events are taking place. Yes, plasmogamy is occurring, karyogamy is occurring, and the meiosis is also occurring, but not in the definite sequence. And when it does not occur at the definite sequence or the specified time period, this particular cycle is called as the parasexual cycle. Okay, so parasexuality in fungi can be defined as its abnormal way of the sexual reproduction in the fungi. Okay, so whatever the sexual reproduction is taking place in the fungi, its variation or its change in a sequence is called as the parasexual cycle. Okay, so normally the fungi will reproduce by going through the three phases, which is called the plasmogamy, karyogamy, and the meiosis. But during the parasexual cycle, although all these events are taking place, but not at the specific period, specific time or in a pattern, and that is why we clearly define them as a parasexual cycle. All right. Now consider, see, many of the common mitosporic fungi such as the Aspergillus, then the Penicillium, Fusarium, and the Trichoderma seems to largely have the abdomen, the sexual way of reproduction. That is, all these are the examples of the parasexual cycles in the fungi, because these fungi largely has abandoned the sexual reproduction in favor of the parasexual cycle, because they are favoring the parasexual cycle and they are following this particular parasexual cycle in place of the sexual reproduction. So they do not need the sexual reproduction anymore. And that is why the sexual reproduction is typically replaced by the parasexuality in the Aspergillus, Penicillium, Fusarium, and the Trichoderma. These can be used as examples. Okay, so careful while writing down the writing down them in the notes. Okay, so all these are the fungi which are typically have abandoned the sexual reproduction because their sexual stages are not seen in the laboratory condition and are found only infrequently, if at all, in the nature. So we have already studied that there were during the classification of the fungi there were the three major classes, and one of them is the fungi imperfecti. We have told you about this. Imperfecti fungi are those fungi which do not show the sexual way of reproduction. Actually, we do not know whether they how they reproduce sexually, or we do not know the definite pattern about them, about their sexual reproduction pattern, right? So that is why we place them in the fungi imperfecti. So many members of this imperfect fungi showing the parasexual cycle, because the parasexual cycle is the abnormal version of the normal sexual reproduction. Okay, so there are many examples of the fungi which are abandon the sexual reproduction and instead they are showing the parasexuality, and these sexual stages which are not found in the laboratory condition normally are belonging to the imperfective fungi, and they generally show the parasexuality. Okay, see, for example, the common fungi Aspergillus fumigatus and the Aspergillus niger have never been found to reproduce sexual stage. See, the sexual stage is not found in these fungi. So how they reproduce? So the answer lies something in the parasexuality. They have some kind of the reproductive ways, but not the actual type of the sexual reproduction. That is, they do not show any definite pattern, just like the other fungi which are showing the sexual reproduction. Such a sexual reproduction not shown by these Aspergillus species. Instead, they show some variation. Definite pattern for their sexuality is not known, and hence we can study them from the parasexuality point of view. So the many members of the imperfective fungi are showing this abnormal way of sexual reproduction, which will come under the category of the parasexuality. Consider generally the parasexual cycle occurs in the fungi, which is the true sexual cycle does not take place. See, where the parasexual cycle occurs in the fungi, whenever there is a typical absence of the sexual cycle, this sexual cycle is typically replaced by the parasexual cycle. So you can typically say that whenever there is a absence of the sexual reproduction in any fungi, it can show the parasexual cycle. So if there is absence of the true sexual cycle, or it does not take place in them, then in such a case the parasexual cycle may be occurring in them. See, the members of the class Deuteromycetes in which the sexual cycle does not occur exhibit the parasexual cycles generally. That is, fungi infertility place in the Deuteromycetes, and these Deuteromycetes does not show any sexual cycle or exhibit any sexual cycle, and hence they are showing the parasexual cycle generally. Okay, so these are parasexual cycles are present typically in the Deuteromycetes, although they are not restricted to the Deuteromycetes only, but the majority of the member of the Deuteromycetes, which are the fungi imperfecti, these are showing the parasexual cycle in place of the true sexual cycle. Okay, see, the parasexual cycle, it was first discovered by the Pentecarvo and the Roper. These names are important. Okay, historically the parasexual cycle were first identified by the Pentecarvo and the Roper in 1952. Okay, in the Aspergillus nodulans. Okay, historically Aspergillus nodulans were the first fungi where these particular parasexual cycle were discovered by the Pentecarvo and the Roper in 1952. All right, since then it has been discovered not only in the members of Deuteromycetes but also in the fungi belonging to the Ascomycetes and the Basidiomycetes. That is, it is covering all the three types of forms. So mere the absence of the sexual reproduction is not the way for the parasexuality, but from those of fungi we showing the typical sexual cycle, just like the Ascomycetes or the Basidiomycetes, these are two showing the parasexuality. So from the evolutionary point of view, why this parasexuality may have occurred, this is questionable. Okay, why? What is the significance of this parasexual cycle? If we say the parasexual cycle found in the Deuteromycetes, we can give the explanation as these are the fungi imperfecti, and these if there is absence of the sexual cycle, it may have been replaced by the parasexual cycle. But what about the examples of the Ascomycetes and the Basidiomycetes? These Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes have the well-known sexual way of reproduction. Still, they are showing the presence of the parasexuality. So, how this parallel evolution may have occurred of the sexual cycle and the parasexual cycle? So sexual cycle and parasexual cycle is evolved in these particular fungi, not only in the fungi imperfecti or the Deuteromycetes, but also in the Ascomycetes and the Basidiomycetes. So remember carefully, the parasexuality is not only restricted to the Deuteromycetes, but it is also present in the Ascomycetes as well as in the Basidiomycetes. Okay, so in general, when we talk about the parasexual cycle, we are talking about whenever there is absence of the true sexual cycle, it is replaced by the parasexual cycle. But still, there are some examples where the true sexual cycle still exists, but still there is a presence of the parasexual cycle. Okay, now consider this. See, in parasexuality, the genetically distinct nuclei within the common hypha, see, very important, common hypha exchange the portions of the chromosome. See what happens in the parasexuality. So as you already know, the normal reproduction in the fungi, okay, in the what happens in the parasexuality is that the genetically distinct nuclei, okay, genetically they are different nuclei, genetically different nuclei, how they were created. Last in the last lecture we have seen it in the heterothallasm, right? The genetically distinct nuclei of the common hypha exchange the portion of the chromosome. That is, as you know, the chromosome possesses the genes, and these two nuclei, consider this is the first nuclei and this is the second nuclei, and this particular nuclei and this particular nuclei shows the presence of some of the genes, and these genes are different from one another, and that is why we are saying that these are two nuclei are genetically different from each other. Okay, so the distinct nuclei, genetically distinct nuclei of the common hypha, they exchange the chromosome. What they are exchanging? They are exchanging the chromosome. Exchanging chromosome literally means exchanging the genetic information, because whenever there is an exchange of the chromosome, there is an exchange of the genes. Okay, and when there is exchange of the genes, we say that here is the genetic recombination is occurring. That is, exchange of the genetic material is taking place. So it is kind of a sexual reproduction, because sexual reproduction, the male nuclei and the female nuclei, when they came in contact with each other, they combine to form the zygote, Toisian zygote. This zygote contains the character from both egg as well as from the sperm. So the typical type of the zygote which is created after the fusion of the male and the female nuclei, it has the characteristics of both. In a very similar way, here the two nuclei which are genetically distinct from one another, they are showing the exchange of the chromosomes. See, according to the Pentecarvo in 1958, see, parasexual cycle in the Aspergillus nadulans, it involves the following steps. See, consider one by one. See, the first step is the formation of the heterokaryotic mycelium. Now, mycelium, as you know, this is the network of the hyphae, right? So, mycelium, first step is the formation of the heterokaryotic mycelium. See, heterokaryotic mycelium is formed in the several ways. There are many ways in which this typical heterokaryotic mycelium can be created. See, the most common is the anastomosis of the somatic hyphae of the different genetic combination. Now, anastomosis is nothing but the fusion, okay, fusion of the genetically different hypha. So these hypha, when combined together, this is a somatic hyphae, because it's a part of the somatic body part of the fungi. Because you should understand what is meant by somatic here. See, somatic literally means the vegetative, okay, which is not reproductive. Okay, something in the body of the living organism which is not reproductive, it is considered as a somatic or the vegetative. Generally, we use the term vegetative in the plant kingdom, and generally defining the animal kingdom or the fungi, we use the term somatic. So the cells other than the reproductive cells are considered as somatic cells or the vegetative cells. Okay, so the vegetative, the somatic hyphae, okay, whatever the somatic hyphae is there, which is not the reproductive hyphae of the different genetic combination, it shows the anastomosis. They mix together to create this particular heterokaryotic mycelium. So the first step in the parasexual cycle is the formation of the heterokaryotic mycelium. There should be the creation of the heterokaryotic mycelium at the first place. And how this occurs? It occurs generally by the anastomosis. Okay, there are many ways how this can happen, but the most common one is the anastomosis. What happens in the anastomosis? The somatic hyphae of the fungi, whatever the fungi is there, its somatic hyphae fuse together with a different genetic combination of the other hyphae, and this fusion is called as the anastomosis. And due to this fusion, the heterokaryotic mycelium is got created. Formation of the heterokaryotic mycelium is happened due to this particular anastomosis. Consider the foreign nucleus and the nuclei introduced into the mycelium and multiplies its progeny and spreads through the mycelium, making it heterokaryotic. So what is actually happening? The foreign nucleus from the another mycelium. Okay, consider this is the first mycelium and this is the second mycelium, and the nucleus of this mycelium is directly introduced into this mycelium. So this can be considered as a foreign nucleus because it is coming from the other mycelium. So the foreign nucleus or the nuclei is introduced into the mycelium, it multiplies itself, okay, and spread through the mycelium, making it heterokaryotic. So there are many nuclei condition in the specific mycelium, and this nucleus is originally coming from the other mycelium, and hence it is considered as a foreign nucleus, and this foreign nucleus creates its multiple copies, hence making this particular mycelium as a heterokaryotic mycelium. So what is heterokaryotic mycelium? Heterokaryotic mycelium is nothing but the mycelium which has the nucleus from the other mycelium, and this nucleus has spreaded itself and created many copies of it. So such a mycelium is now called as the heterokaryotic mycelium. So what is heterokaryotic mycelium? When we talk about the heterokaryotic mycelium, it should have the foreign nucleus which has multiplied itself in these mycelium, hence making them as a heterokaryotic. Okay. Now see, mutation is the mutation in one or more nuclei of the homokaryotic mycelium also makes it heterokaryotic. As we have already discussed, that there are many ways in which the heterokaryotic mycelium may have got created. Other than the anastomosis, there is another method which is called as the mutation. This mutation can occur in the homokaryotic mycelium, that is the original nucleus which is present in the mycelium. It may got mutated, okay, and it can create the many copies and making it to the heterokaryotic. So mutation is also the way of creating the heterokaryotic mycelium in the first stage of the parasexual cycle. So during the first stage of the parasexual cycle, there is a creation of the heterokaryotic mycelium, and this heterokaryotic mycelium can be created by the anastomosis or it can be created by the mutation. During the anastomosis, the foreign nuclei come in a contact with the mycelium, other mycelium, and it multiplies, it spread itself. And this type of mycelium is called as the heterokaryotic mycelium, or the mutation in the homokaryotic mycelium may takes place and making it to the heterokaryotic. Now it happens in the some fungi belonging to the ascomycetes. Okay, in the ascomycete, these types of the mutation can be seen. So majority of the time anastomosis is there, and sometimes there is a mutation. In both the ways, there is a formation of the heterokaryotic mycelium. Okay, now consider what happens next. See, still there is a third way, is by the fusion of the some of the nuclei of their subsequent multiplication and spread among the haploid nuclei. See, there is a third way, just like the first anastomosis is there, mutation is there, and there is another way in which there is a fusion of the sum of the nuclei. Nuclei are fusing with one another, and their subsequent multiplication. After the fusion, there is a multiplication of these nuclei, and it spreads through the haploid nuclei, and in this way, they can create the heterokaryotic condition as well. In this type of the heterokaryotic mycelium, the mixture of the haploid and the diploid nucleus may occur. That is, the haploid nucleus may be present there and the diploid nucleus is also present there. Such a kind of mycelium can be created by using this third way. Just simply by combining the nuclei and multiplying it, it can form the haploid and the diploid nucleus continuously in the mycelium, and hence again the mycelium is becoming the heterokaryotic. So in all the three ways, the heterokaryotic mycelium is got created. It can be created by the anastomosis, it can be created by the mutation, or it can be created by the third way. Okay, all these ways were there, and these these ways, different types of the fungi shows their first stage of the parasexuality, in which they form the heterokaryon. What they create the heterokaryon in the first step, and generally it is by the anastomosis. Okay, in the first step, the heterokaryon is got created by the fusion, by the transferring the nuclei to the foreign mycelium, and this mycelium, in this mycelium, the nucleus spread to create it, to make it heterokaryon. Okay, now consider this. See, the second one is the fusion between the two nuclei, that is called as the karyogamy. Okay, first the transfer of the nuclei, that is a heterokaryotic mycelium is got created, and in the second step there is the occurrence of the karyogamy, that is the fusion between the two nuclei. Okay, now see, the fusion of the nuclei in the mycelium has been demonstrated. See, the nuclear fusion may be of two types. Okay, see, the very first is the fusion between the like nuclei. Okay, the once the nuclei is got introduced into the foreign mycelium, in this mycelium there is a fusion of the nuclei. It can be of two types. That is, first is the fusion between the two like nuclei. That is, two nuclei are very much similar with one another, and they are fusing with one another. Okay, then it is called as the fusion between the like nuclei. That is, the similar nuclei are fusing with one another. Then in the second is the fusion between the unlike nuclei. The nuclear fusion is results in the formation of a homozygous or the heterozygous diploid nucleus respectively. See, once the nucleus is in the foreign mycelium, the heterokaryotic mycelium is got created. Now it may got fused with the similar nuclei, okay, or it may got fused with the dissimilar nuclei, unlike nuclei. Okay, in any case, it may form the homozygous if it is the similar nuclei, and it may form the heterozygous diploid nucleus. Okay, because the fusion of the haploid nucleus, it may have created nucleus. Okay, the third type of nucleus, which is called as the diploid nucleus, may have got created. Just the difference is that it can be of two types. If it is fused with the similar nuclei, and it can be fused with the unlike nuclei. If it is fused with the similar nuclei, it can form the homozygous diploid nucleus, or it can create the heterozygous diploid nucleus respectively. Okay, so in the first step, the heterokaryon is got created. Okay, and in the second step, there is a formation of the diploid nucleus. Okay, diploid nucleus may have got created there due to the fusion of the foreign nuclei. Okay, now consider this: if the genotype of the unlike nuclei present in the heterokaryotic mycelium is A and B. See, we are considering the second way, that is the fusion between the unlike nuclei. Okay, if the genotype of the unlike nuclei is present in the heterokaryotic mycelium A and B, then the five types of nuclei can be formed there by the fusion. See what they are talking about. See, once in the first step, what we have seen, this is the first mycelium and this is the second mycelium. Okay, now from the first mycelium, here is the introduction of the nuclei, making it to the heterokaryotic mycelium. Now, what we called it as a, we called it as a heterokaryotic mycelium. Now, this nucleus may fuse with the similar nuclei or the dissimilar nuclei within the foreign mycelium. Now, when the dissimilar nuclei or the unlike nuclei which is genetically different from this nuclei, if they are fusing with one another, that is, if you consider this as A and this nuclei as a B, okay, A and B. Now, this A and B, if they are genetically distinct and they are going to fuse with one another, then there can be the formation of five types of nuclei by this fusion. Consider this my heterokaryotic mycelium is having the A and B nuclei which are genetically unlike with each other. They are genetically different with each other. Now, there are five types of nuclei can be formed after this type of fusion. See, two types of the haploid nuclei, that is A and B, two types of the homozygous diploid nuclei, that is AA and BB, and one type of the heterozygous diploid nuclei, that is A and B. So all these kind of the combinations can be created there. That is the two types of the haploid nucleus. If there are both the nucleus are haploid A and B, it can be represented by the capital A and capital B. If both the types of the homozygous diploid nucleus were there, it can be represented as a capital A, capital B, capital A, and capital B, and one type of the heterozygous diploid nucleus can be there as a capital A and capital B. Okay, now consider this. See the multiplication of the diploid nuclei. Now, once there is a creation of the diploid nuclei, this diploid nuclei may undergo the multiplication in the third step. Okay, so in the first step, what happened? In the first step, the heterokaryon is got created. Heterokaryon is got created in the very first step. Okay, and in the second step, what happened? There is a fusion of the nuclei. In that category, you have to remember there may be the fusion between the like nucleus or there may be the fusion between the unlike nuclei. Now, the third one is called as the multiplication of the diploid nuclei, because once the fusion of the nuclei is taking place, there is a formation of the diploid nuclei. Now, the multiplication of this diploid nuclei is the third stage. So, in the first stage, there is a formation of heterokaryon. In the second stage, there is a fusion of the nucleus between like or unlike. And there is a third condition in which there is a formation of the diploid nuclei, which is going to multiply now. Okay. Now, see the above mentioned five types of the nuclei multiply at about the same rate, but the diploid nuclei are present in the much smaller number than the haploid nuclei. So whatever the nuclei is may have got created, five conditions may be there, maybe five types of the nuclei may have got created there, but the majority of them, see the above mentioned five types of the nuclei may multiply at about the same rate. Okay, that is their rate may be same, but the diploid nuclei are present in the much smaller number than the haploid nuclei. That is, the number of the diploid nuclei is very much lesser in these particular mycelium when you compare them with the haploid nuclei. So the haploid nuclei are there, and these haploid nuclei are, when you compare them with the diploid nuclei, these diploid nuclei are the much smaller in number when you compare them with that of the haploid nuclei. See what Partocarvo has to say about this. Estimate that the proportion of the one diploid heterozygous nucleus to the 1000 haploid nucleus. So what is the proportion? 1 is to the 1000. That is, the 1000 haploid nuclei may be there to the one diploid nuclei. Okay, so the proportion or the presence of the diploid nuclei is very less. You can say that the diploid nucleus creation is very less in that five categories. Whenever there is a formation of diploid nuclei, there may be the thousands of the other haploid nuclei which are present in this particular mycelium. So here you have to understand that in the third step there is the multiplication of the diploid nuclei. Whatever the diploid nuclei are there, these are diploid nucleus which is got created. These are diploid nucleus are going to multiply itself in the third stage of the parasexual cycle, but its number is very low when we compare them with that of the haploid nucleus. It is generally 1 to the 1000 haploid nuclei. Okay, now after the division, there is an occasional mitotic crossing over as well. See, during the multiplication, now diploid nucleus, as you know, it is going to multiply. Now, during this multiplication, the diploid nuclei, the mitotic crossing over may take place. Now, mitotic crossing over, we are going to see this in the cell biology unit, that is the mitosis. In this particular mitosis process, there is an event of the which is called as the crossing over. Now, crossing over, what is crossing over? It is nothing but the exchange of the genetic material between the two chromosomes. That is, the genetic material is exchanging its part or the genes with one another. Hence, it is responsible for the creation of the new genetic characters. Okay, so occasional mitotic crossing may occur during this particular multiplication of the diploid nuclei, because mitosis is occurring, and crossing over may occur during this particular process. And whenever there is a occurrence of the crossing over, this mitotic crossing over may result in the formation of a new genetic character, that is the recombination. Okay, the new genetic character may got created in this particular mitotic crossing over. Now this results in the formation of the new gene genetic combinations. Okay, new gene combination may have got created in this particular mitotic crossing over. So this is an important step. During the third step in the sexual parasexual cycle, there is the division, there is the multiplication of the diploid nucleus, and during this division of the or the multiplication of the nucleus, there may be the chances that there may be occurring the mitotic crossing over, in which the new genetic combination may got created. Okay, now see the recombinations which are dependent on the existing heterokaryosis gives an fungus some advantages of the sexuality within the parasexual cycle. So this is very, very important. See here, what they are telling you is that whatever the crossing over is occurring, whatever this crossing over is occurring, this crossing over is creating the new genetic character. Okay, new genetic characters were created out of these particular crossing over. So this is much like the sexual reproduction. In the sexual reproduction, also there is the formation of the new genetic characters. So this crossing over giving some advantages to these fungi of the sexual reproduction, although sexual reproduction is not happening, but still there is the occurrence of the crossing over, and hence we say that the parasexual cycle is also providing the sexual reproduction benefits to the fungi. Okay, so crossing over may occur during the division or multiplication of the diploid nucleus, and due to this crossing over, the new genetic characters may have got created. Now these new genetic characters, which are generally created in the sexual reproduction, it is creating in the mitotic crossing over. So this parasexual cycle is also showing the new genetic combinations. It is showing the recombination, just like the sexual way of reproduction, and that is why we are saying that these are recombinations. Whatever the new genetic characters are created here, these are dependent on the existent heterokaryosis. It gives rise to the some of the advantages of the sexual cycle within the parasexual cycle. That is, parasexual cycle is also offering the advantages of the sexual cycle. Okay, now consider this. The sorting out of the diploid nuclei in the fifth step. See, in those of fungi which produce the uninucleate conidia, okay, because there are different kinds of fungi, and some kind of fungi we are producing the uninucleate conidia, that is the conidia which is contain the one nucleus condition. Sorting of the diploid nucleus occurs by their incorporation into the conidia, which germinate to produce the diploid mycelia. Now see, this is very much important. Understand this here. See, in some fungi, what happens, whatever the haploid conidia is formed there, whatever the haploid conidia is there, this haploid conidia where haploid conidia got separated, and the diploid conidia is got separated. That is sorting out of the conidia where it takes place. And when these conidia were moved from the one place to the another place, once these conidia were moved from one place to another place, these going to germinate itself into the diploid mycelium. Diploid mycelium may have got created out of this, and this diploid mycelium is got created once there is the formation of once there is a sorting out of the diploid conidia. So here is the sorting out of the diploid conidia. This diploid conidia is separating out itself from the haploid conidia, and once this diploid conidia germinate, it will create the diploid mycelia. Now this diploid strains of the several important infraeffective fungi have been isolated. So the mycelium with the diploid nature, it has been isolated many times from the infraeffective fungi. So once there is a formation of the diploid nucleus in the parasexual cycle, there is a sorting out of the haploid nuclei and the diploid nuclei, and the diploid nuclei, once they are separating from their parental fungi, these diploid nuclei then create the diploid mycelium. Okay, so from where it got started from the anastomyces. There is a heterokaryogamy. First step is the heterokaryosis. Then in the second step, what happened? There is the fusion of the nucleus, and in the third step, there is a multiplication of the nucleus, and after there is a formation of the diploid conidia. This diploid conidia may have give rise to the diploid mycelium. So diploid mycelium is got created out of the diploid conidia, and this diploid conidia is got created due to the fusion of the two haploid nucleuses, which results in the formation of diploid nucleus. And this diploid nucleus, which is mixture of the two haploid nucleus, is one of them is coming from the other mycelium in the formation of the heterokaryon. Okay, so during the parasexual cycle, the very first step is the formation of the heterokaryon. In the second step, there is a fusion of the nuclei. In the third step, there is a multiplication of the nuclei, and in this multiplication, there may be the mitotic crossing over is there, and in the fourth step, there is a sorting out of these diploid nuclei from the haploid nuclei, and then these diploid nuclei are giving rise to the diploid mycelium. Okay, now consider this. Then there is an occasional haplodization of the diploid nuclei may occur. Okay, this can be occasionally found in some of the fungi. See the sixth stage here, that is the occasional haplodization of the diploid nuclei. See, occasionally some hyphae of the diploid mycelium. Okay, diploid mycelium is there because this diploid mycelium is created out of the diploid conidia. Now these diploid mycelium form the haploid conidia later. Okay, that is, see, these diploid conidia were there, and there is a sorting out of the diploid nuclei, and this diploid nuclei is giving rise to the diploid mycelium. Now this diploid mycelium may undergo the haplodization, that is, there is a formation of the haploid conidia. Consider here is the haploid conidia formed from the diploid mycelium. So these haploid conidia will later give rise to the haploid mycelia. Okay, here the haploid mycelium may have got created. So haploid mycelia is created out of this haploid mycelium on the germination. Now the formation of the haploid conidia by the diploid mycelium indicates the haplodization occurs in some of the diploid nuclei. That is, whatever the diploid mycelium is there, this diploid mycelium is creating the haploid nuclei. That literally means it is undergoing the haplodization. Okay, so now understand it carefully. Now what is happening actually in the parasexual cycle? Now in the first step, what is happening? Consider this is an haploid mycelium. Here we have the haploid mycelium, and here is the anastomosis. In the anastomosis, there is a formation of the heterokaryon. That is, it has received the foreign nuclei, and this foreign nuclei is making it heterokaryon. Now this heterokaryon, after the fusion of the like or the alike nuclei, it will form the diploid nucleus, and those are cells which possess the diploid nucleus. These are called as the diploid. These will form the diploid conidia. Now these diploid conidia is sorted out of the haploid conidia. So diploid conidia are different and the haploid conidia are different. So sorting out is takes place, and the diploid conidia were sorted out of the haploid conidia. Now after their fusion, after their germination, it will form the diploid mycelium. What they create? They will create the diploid mycelium, and this diploid mycelium undergoes the haplodization, and somehow they create the haploid conidia. Now, once they create the haploid conidia, upon germination, this haploid conidia will create the haploid mycelium, and again this haploid mycelium will undergo the anastomosis and create the heterokaryon. Then this heterokaryon will create the diploid conidia as well as the haploid conidia, and the sorting is taking place there, because here the 5 types of the nucleuses may have got created. So the diploid conidia, after sorting out, they germinate to create the diploid mycelium, and this diploid mycelium undergoes the haplodization to create the haploid conidia, and these haploid conidia, after sorting out, germinate to create the haploid mycelium, and again this haploid mycelium will create the heterokaryon. So this is how this cycle is going on and on. Okay, now the formation of the haploid conidia from the diploid mycelium, it indicates that the haplodization occurs in some of the diploid nuclei, because from the diploid nuclei, if it is going to create the haploid nuclei, the haplodization is occurring, no doubt in that. So occasional haplodization of the diploid nucleus is occurring here. Okay, now consider. See, sorting out of the haploid strains. Then after that, there is a formation of the haploid strains as well, because 2 types of strains were got created. One is different, other is different, and then we have to separate them out. See, some of the diploid nuclei undergo the haplodization in the mycelium and are sorted out by the incorporation of the haploid nuclei in the uninucleate conidia. Now, some of these haploid strains of the genotypically different from their parents because of their mitotic recombination. So, the very similar in the 6th step, there may be the diploid conidia formation, there may be the haplodization, and these whatever the haploid mycelium is created there, it is generally different from their parent. Now, why? Because the mitotic crossing over is occurred there. Because in the mitotic crossing over, what we find? We find that this crossing over is making the new genetic characters, and that is why this particular haploid mycelium is creating the new mitotic recombinations as well. Okay, so the whatever the haplodization is occurring there, through this haplodization, the new haploid nucleus is got created, and this new haploid nucleus is showing the different genetic characters from its parents, and that is why showing the some new genetic characteristics as well. Okay, now this parasexual cycle, after operated for the some time, and it has created the mycelium. These mycelium may contain the following types of the nucleus. Okay, because different types of the mycelium may have got created. Okay, because there is a haplodization, there is a diploidization. After diploid this particular diploid nucleus, when they germinate, they create the diploid mycelium. After haplodization, they create the haploid mycelium. So different types of the nuclei may present in these particular mycelium. So generally following types of the nuclei is created. See, the haploid nuclei like those of the both of the parents, okay, just like the parents, they were creating the they were having the haploid nuclei, okay, and there is a no diploid nuclei. In the second chance, the haploid nuclei with the various new genetic combinations. So haploid nuclei may be there with the new genetic combination because mitotic crossing over is occurred there. Okay, mitotic crossing over happened there, and this due to this mitotic crossing over, the new genetic characters is created. Okay, now the several types of the diploid homologous nucleus may got created. That is, the in the first type we have the haploid nuclei with which are exactly same of their parents. No new genetic characters are there. In the second one, we have the haploid nuclei but with the new genetic combinations. Okay, and in the third one, the several types of the diploid homozygous nuclei are there. Different types of the diploid homozygous nuclei are there, and these diploid homozygous nuclei are the combination of the haploid nucleus. Then there is several types of the diploid heterozygous nuclei which are genetically distinct with each other. So all these four kinds of the mycelium nuclei may be present there. In the first type, we have the haploid nucleus which is very similar to the parents. Then in the second, we have the haploid nucleus but different from the parents. In the third one, we have the diploid nucleus similar with that of the parents, and in the fourth one, we have the diploid nucleus which is different from their parents. And the differentness or the variation is occurring due to the mitotic crossing over. And due to this crossing over, the new genetic characters is got created in these particular mycelium. Okay, so these are mycelium can be four types of the mycelium can be created there. Two are haploid mycelium, two are diploid mycelium. Out of two haploid mycelium, one is exactly like the parents, and other is forming the new genetic combination. And in the other one, there is a other two, that is the diploid nucleus. One is homozygous, other is heterozygous. Okay, so all these four types of the nucleuses may have got created in the process of mycelium formation. Okay, now it must be emphasized that of these events relatively rare and they do not constitute the regular cycle like the sexual cycle, but the outcome would be similar. See, this is very important. See, these types of the events are relatively rare as when we compare them with the sexual cycle, and they do not constitute the regular sexual cycle. It is not the regular sexual cycle, but it is a different, and that is why we are giving them a title as a parasexual cycle. So they were different from the sexual cycle, and they are showing the parasexual cycle, and these are relatively rare in occurrence. Okay, but the outcome would be similar. That is, what is the outcome? The new genetic character. Okay, new genetic characters is got created in both the processes, and that is why we are saying that the parasexual cycle is comparable with that of the sexual cycle. Okay, now consider this. Once the diploid nucleus has formed by the fusion of the two haploid nuclei from the different parents, the parental genes are potentially recombined, and the chromosome that are lost from the aneuploid nucleus during its reversion to the euploid could be the mixture of in the parental strain. Now see, this is very important. When we talk about the second step, that is the fusion of the two nuclei, this fusion of the two nuclei may create the new recombinations of the chromosomes. Okay, whatever the new genetic character were possessed by both of these nuclei recombine together to form the new genetic characters. So newly formed characters were there in these newly formed diploid nucleuses, and they were lost from the aneuploid nucleus. Okay, that is aneuploid nucleus, which is the something which is very abnormal. Aneuploid means the which has the very much variation, and in comparison, the euploid, when you compare the euploid, it can be largely tolerated in the plants. Now, why it is found in these types of the parasexual cycle? Because abnormally there is a formation of the nucleuses. Okay, because one is coming from the foreign and other is locally localized there, and there may be the combination of the haploid nucleus, there may be the combination of homozygous nucleus, there may be the combination of heterozygous nucleus. So all these are the aneuploid nucleuses which is created during this process. Now these aneuploid nucleuses got reversion into the euploid, which is usable by the cell or the mycelium. Okay, it formed this particular euploid nucleus has the mixture of those parental strains, that is from both the parents. This particular eukaryote type of nucleus is showing the characters because it's similar with that of the sexual reproduction, because in the parasexual cycle the new genetic characters is also formed, and these new genetic characters may create the new type of the new diploid nucleus, and here it is showing the parental strains from both the parents. Okay, parental characters or the parental genes from both the parents. So that is nucleus from the one parent and the nucleus from the other parent. When they fuse in the diploidization, they have both the characters from the parents. Both parental strains are giving their characters in this particular diploid nucleus. Okay, now what is the significance of this parasexual cycle? See, this parasexual cycle is importance in the industrial processes. Now, this parasexual cycle is actually used by the human beings because in the industrial processes, whatever the fungi were used there, these fungi are showing the parasexual cycle. See, several fungi which are used in the various industrial processes belonging to the imperfecti or the deuteromycetes, because their sexual way of reproduction is not known, and hence they were comes under the deuteromycetes. And in these fungi, the parasexual cycle operates. So whatever the industrial output is there due to the fungi, these fungi are showing the parasexual cycles. And due to the parasexual cycles, whatever the product is created there, due to the parasexual cycle, the lifeline of the fungus continues there. And due to the continued growth of the fungus, due to the parasexual cycle, there is a creation of the product. So whatever the fungi, majority of them we use in the industrial processes are the fungi which belongs to the imperfecti or the deuteromycetes. These are fungi or the fungi which belongs to the imperfecti or the deuteromycetes. These are used in the industrial processes, and in the industrial processes, as you already know, we largely obtain some kind of the product. Okay, and all these fungi imperfecti showing the parasexual cycle. So if there is a lack of parasexual cycle, we would not have such a type of products there. Okay, so fungi imperfecti which we use in the industrial processes showing the production of the this type of products. Okay, now new and the better strains of the fungi are obtained by the mutation through the parasexual cycle. See, we have talked about the mutation may occur, and these mutation may create the new strains. Okay, and these new strains can be better useful for the humankind as well. So, due to the mutation, the useful characters may have got created in the evolution of the fungi, and these beneficial characteristics which are evolved out of the mutation may be desirable for ourselves as well. Okay, so strains of the desirable character can be developed through the mitotic recombination. So, as you know, during the mitosis there is a crossing over, and due to this crossing over, the new genetic recombinations were taking place, and these new genetic recombinations which are created here, these recombinations can be useful. Okay, this can be desirable, and desire even by using the mutation we can create these desirable characters in these fungi which are showing the parasexual cycle. Now see, this parasexuality can also be applied to the analysis of the genetic and the physiological process of the perfect and imperfect fungi, because we can use them as a research tool to analyze the genetic as well as the physiological processes in these fungi. See, for example, the one fungi is showing the normal sexual cycle. Okay, it is showing the normal sexual cycle, and there is other fungi which is showing the parasexual cycle. One sexual cycle is the normal sexual cycle, other fungi is showing the parasexual cycle. Now if you study the physiology of these fungi, and if you compare the physiology with that of these fungi, these physiology, we can understand how the sexual reproduction is giving rise to the one kind of physiology, and the parasexual reproduction is giving rise to the other kind of physiology. So we can compare these genetic and physiological processes to understand how the sexual reproduction and the new genetic characters are created and how they express in a particular organism. So largely these are used in the used for the research purpose in the genetic to understand the genetic and the physiological processes. See, the parasexual cycle has also been successfully employed in the genetic control of the pathogenicity. Okay, so genetic control of the pathogenicity this cycle, particular parasexual cycle, is successfully employed where to control the genetic pathogenicity. See, whatever the new genetic character is formed in the parasexual cycle is largely through the mitotic crossing over. Mitotic crossing over is taking place, and new genetic character is created here. So by using this mitotic crossing over, we can create the such a fungi which are the control of the pathogenicity and the host range of the several fusarium species. As you know, when we have control over the mitotic crossing over, we can create the many genetic combinations. Okay, many genetic combinations can be created there, and if the useful genetic combination is created there, which is do not show any pathogenicity and can be used in the industrial processes, then we can select such a desirable combination. So in the research, we can use the parasexual cycle to control this pathogenicity of the fungi. Okay, genetic control of the pathogenicity, and we can use that host range in the several species of the fusarium. And as you know, fusarium we have discussed earlier as well, if you remember, right? See, assuming that the heterokaryosis does occur, we can ask why several fungi abandon the efficient sexual mechanism of the genetic recombination in favor of a more random and seemingly less efficient process. See, this is very important question. Now, throughout the evolution, okay, now evolution is going to select the perfect processes only, and that is why in the process they make the organism very perfect. Okay, but what happened in the fungi where the very perfect sexual process, it got replaced by the parasexual cycle? What is the purpose of this parasexual cycle from the evolutionary viewpoint? because the fungi which can normally reproduce by the sexual method, these are reproducing by the parasexual method, and in both the methods the new genetic combinations are created. Then why to go for the parasexual cycle instead of the sexual cycle? Because sexual way of reproduction is the efficient way of reproduction when we compare them with the parasexual cycle. So parasexual cycle on the one hand is less efficient when we compare it with the sexual cycle, but still it is adopted by the fungi. Then why? Question occurs. Because in the process of evolution, the sexual way of reproduction, which is a perfect way of reproduction, must have been chosen by these fungi. But what they chose, they have used the parasexual cycle. Then what is the reason behind it? Why in the evolution we find the parasexual cycle instead of the perfect sexual cycle? The parasexual cycle is actually less efficient than the sexual cycle in creating the new genetic combination, because in the sexual cycle many more genetic recombinations are created when we compare with the parasexual cycle. Although parasexual cycle is also creating the new genetic characters, but these are far less when compared with that of the sexual cycle. So in the sexual and the parasexual cycle, the more sexual if we compare them both, the sexual way of reproduction is more efficient as compared to the parasexual cycle. Then the question is here, why in the evolution they have go for the parasexual cycle? See, the answer might be that the parasexual event can occur at any time during the normal somatic growth with no precondition like those for the sexual reproduction. See, the answer is very simple. Now, what is the advantage of the parasexual cycle? What is the significance of the parasexual cycle we are discussing here? See, to happen the parasexual event, these events can happen anytime at the normal somatic growth of the fungi. It does not require the preconditions which are required for the sexual way of reproduction. As you know, to have the sexual reproduction, the fungi has to complete its vegetative growth or the somatic growth, and after finding the suitable environmental condition, this is very important. Suitable environmental, once there is a suitable environmental condition, these fungi tends to grow, tends to reproduce. Okay, so the suitable environmental condition will always be required during the sexual way of reproduction. Okay, but this does not require during the parasexual events. During the parasexual reproduction, these preconditions are not required, and this can happen anytime in the normal during the normal and somatic growth. That literally means if the fungi is growing and it does not attain the full vegetative growth, still at that time it can reproduce by the parasexual cycle. So the sexual cycle's requirement or the preconditions are more when we compare them with the parasexual cycle. Parasexual cycle can happen anytime. It does not require any suitable environmental conditions. What the sexual cycle is required, it requires the suitable environmental condition. Then and only then they proceed for the sexual reproduction. So here is the major advantage of the parasexual cycle, that it does not require the preconditions just like that of the sexual reproduction. Okay. So this is all about this topic. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like this video, share this video with your friends who are studying the botany, and if you haven't subscribed to the Bot Caption channel yet, please subscribe to the Bot Caption channel for UPSC examination. Again, thank you very much for giving your time. See you in the next video lecture. Thank you.